News, there is a petition circulating that has gained a lot of steam in the past week that essentially calls for the firing of Disney CEO Bob Chapek. Change.org petition is out and about right now. Apparently, it has been out for a while, but only recently started to see a surge in interest as some powerful people started sharing the individual petition itself, and more people started to sign on the dotted line, now pushing into the upper 50,000 signature mark, and certainly on its way to being recognized as a Change.org petition of power. The petition, which was published a year ago, lays accusations that Chapek has consistently put himself and money above the product and quality of the company, as well as mentions that the 28,000 layoffs of Disney Parks cast members since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, just juxtaposed with the reinstatement of executive bonuses. The author also discusses poor maintenance at the parks, claiming that Chapek has put his attentions on Disney Plus as the current big moneymaker. And recently, WDW News Today continues with this story saying, recently we learned that his decision to relocate the vast majority of Walt Disney Imagineering to Lake Nona, Florida, has also caused a severe drop in morale, with many Imagineers choosing to leave the company than uproot the lives they built in California. Neither Disney nor Chapek has responded to the petition as of the writing of the article. Now, no doubt, Bob Chapek, Captain Charisma, as I like to call him, continues to be somebody that I don't think he's ever had really an outpouring of support from the Disney fan community. He's not the most likable guy in terms of presentation. He's a very hard he's not somebody that can stand on stage and make you go, wow, he's super engaging. He's just not good at it. And a lot of people aren't, I guess the credit of most people are afraid of public speaking. But he's the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world. And now there is a petition calling for his firing. Now, I certainly don't think that a Change.org petition is going to do anything to get rid of the CEO of the Walt Disney Company, but certainly don't see too many of these things circulating for the sake of other CEOs in life. There seems to be a real passion behind getting rid of this guy. People very frustrated, very irritated with Bob Chapek as the CEO, and he hasn't been CEO that long, Tyler.
No, for whatever reason, and like all joking aside, because I know we joke around a lot about him, very often. Like, I don't know why I dislike him so much. Like, I don't know what to say about it other than I just look at him and he makes me mad, and and I don't know why. He hasn't done anything to hurt me.
It's like a Lex Luthor.
Yep.
He's not even a Lex Luthor.
It's just
he
the
seems
bald
like
head. No one likes those
it's
people. They're bad guys.
Larry David knows.
It's like somebody tried to make a clone of Lex Luthor, and it came out and it was like not quite as good as the original, But anyway, I don't know, man. It made me upset when I started seeing these different Imagineers on Twitter and stuff just saying that, they got the call and they're saying, well, your job is moving to Florida. And they're like, well, I can't move to Florida because I have my family out here doing, my wife is doing this, my husband is doing this, whatever. And it's just upsetting to see people getting torn apart like that, and all just so they can save, a few bucks here and there. Because we all know that's exactly what they're trying to do, just like save money rather than, because California's expensive. I get it, but it's just... man, could you imagine? I just you're just treating the people that come up with the ideas so poorly. Like, it's just wild to me, and maybe that's why I don't like Bob Chapek, because he makes decisions like this. But
perhaps that's it.
Yeah, it's just good riddance, Bob. Like, I don't think this Change.org is going to change anything, but I sure wish it would, because, man, that guy, I just don't like him.
That guy.
Naturally, when you think back on the position itself over the course of history, I mean, nobody's Walt Disney, nobody's ever been Walt Disney, and We've seen a lot of CEOs come and go over the course of time at the Disney Company, Bob Iger being one that, for the most part, seems celebrated, for the most part, seems really admired and respected. Michael Eisner before him, certainly celebrated to a degree towards the end. We watched as he kind of fell apart as Frank Wells, the president of the Walt Disney Company, passed away in a freak accident, and Michael kind of like lost his mind. And I spoke at length about this earlier this week on Disney News Talk Live, where we spoke with our viewers about, how are you feeling when it comes to price hikes and stuff like that. And it kind of went down the road of, where are the Disney family members? Are they happy with the direction of where the company's going? And that led to a discussion of there are none involved in the company anymore. The last one was Roy, the nephew. Roy Disney led the ouster of Michael Eisner, led a shareholder revolt in the early 2000s against Michael Eisner to remove him from power. After all Michael did a lot of amazing things to expand Disney and make Disney the powerhouse that we even know it as today. Michael kind of lost his mind there towards the end, and that led to Roy his position on the board and leading the shareholders in revolt against Michael Eisner. It was very Shakespearean. And then ultimately that led to the rise of Bob Iger. And fast forward, there have been a lot of contenders of people who were going to be named CEO over the course of the last 10 years that all fell for some reason in the process. The Hollywood Reporter came out with a story here not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, that was fascinating to read, that discussed a lot of those people and why they didn't work out, Tom Staggs being one of the most recent. And it sort of alluded to the fact that Bob Chapek may have had something to do with sabotaging Tom Staggs in becoming CEO, which everybody thought that guy was the heir apparent and was going to easily move on into the position. It didn't go into much detail after that, but it alludes to the fact that Chapek may have had something to do with it. If that's true, my God.
That is Shakespearean.
Yeah, I mean, the top ranks of this company, they deal with an awful lot, and now we're dealing with a change.org petition for Bob Chapek.
I mean, I don't think the change.org thing is going to do anything. I feel like a lot of people like petitions right now, and like a lot of them don't really follow through. But when some that actually Disney have noticed, like they actually change stuff very quickly, which I like. But I mean, he needs to go. We all don't like Bob Chapek. But also he's not the only bad guy. And I hate to say it because there's other people that have yes, he is like the face, the head of the other, the places, but you also need to look at who's the head of the parks, who's the head of,
Daddy Tomorrow.
Yep. And who's the head of merchandise, who's the head of, whatever production company, who's what, they all have to talk to each other. It's not just him just saying, you know what, we're going to do this. You know what, we're going to do this. I'm sure they brought him ideas and then he's like, no, let's just do this. And let's do this. But I mean, when you're the face of something, you kind of have to embrace it. Yeah. And so he's losing sight of what Walt Disney wanted, I feel like. I mean, Walt Disney was the dreamer. Roy was the go-getter with the money and stuff. And that's why Michael Eisner and Wells were such a great team, because there was the dreamer and the money man.
Yep.
And Chapek needs a dreamer. Mm-hmm. He's the money man, obviously, and he's ruining it. He's losing the product and the quality of what Disney is.
Designing. And I'll tell you, I think what it comes down to for me is you can't fake passion, and you can't fake commitment, and you can't fake heart when it comes to a product. And it might boil down to the fact that he's not a good presenter. It might boil down to the fact that he can't get his point across very well. There lacks a bit of heart when it comes to listening to him and the product itself. Jay Rizzullo, who was also tapped for the Disney CEO-ship, who at one point was Parks chairman, much the same way, acted very similar to Bob Chapek. And I thought, God, I hope that guy, even as Parks and Resorts chairman, he was not a likable figure. He was somebody that many people shied away from. He had to have cameras following him if he ever did visit a theme park to prove that he was there. It was very clear and transparent the kind of person that he was, at least to outsiders. Now you move along and we have somebody like that as CEO of the company, and it creates a bit of tension, that's for sure. So you let us know in the comment section. You want to sign the change.org petition? You think that might do anything? And as always, your perspective does matter.
come to this happy place, welcome.